The NHL is terrified of this, as the New York Rangers' last few playoff exits have come because of a lack of physicality. It sounds like the Rangers have found an answer, and Coach Peter Laviolette seems pretty fired up about it. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest, but before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 70% of you who watch our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel, and if you want to do yourself a favor, it's free. Hit that subscribe button and you get to stay up to date with everything New York Rangers. And let's dive right into it. Adam Edstrom has been a revelation, not just, coming into the NHL last season, but of course, certainly this season. And it sounds like Peter Laviolette is really loving the fact that he has another option there on the fourth line. And not just the fourth line, we'll get to it in a second, but it's looking like Edstrom may be playing himself into a promotion of sorts. But let's get into it. So many writers and so many people who cover the Rangers are writing about Adam Edstrom right now because he has honestly been brilliant in his role so far this season. And that's something I'll touch on later in the video as well. I'm not sure I would move him from his role at this time because he has been so good in his current role. Don't fix what isn't broken at this point in time. And this is from, of course, Forever Blue Shirts and Jim Cerny. Adam Edstrom is no longer an afterthought. His complete game making a mark on the New York Rangers so far this year. And Rangers coach Peter Laviolette went on to say, I think it's just more of a complete game. I think he's played well defensively. His size, his ability to skate, I do think he's physical. I think he's done a good job. And I think he's created offense as well, even if it doesn't necessarily show on his statistics. And I think that's a great point by Peter Laviolette, because if you look at his statistics so far this season, they're not going to jump off the page at you, right? Adam Edstrom, I'm talking about, of course. But he is creating offense. It's not resulting in goals or assists, even though it did result in a goal. It literally did result in a goal the other night against the New York Islanders. But, he's working hard for his opportunities and to create offense from pretty much nothing. I mean, he created a goal from nothing the other night against the Islanders, like I mentioned, and other scoring chances as well. And he's using his speed to his advantage. And for a guy his size, he has to utilize his speed. Nobody has that size and speed in the NHL, or not a lot of players, that's for sure. And he's been great and responsible defensively as well, especially on the penalty kill, right? That was something we were talking about earlier this season, that he could be an option on the penalty kill, and that's probably another reason why he was going to make the team over a guy like Matt Rempe or anybody else. And I think, we've talked a lot on the channel about solidifying your spot in the lineup and, more specifically with the defense. But in terms of solidifying your spot, this is a guy that, I don't know if I would move him up at this point in time. Maybe if it's warranted later in the season or after a couple more games, if you really think he can give you something offensively. But he has been brilliant. This is a guy who has certainly, to me, solidified his spot. And it's not just the speed and creating offense and responsible defensively. It's his physicality. He plays great, on the defensive side of the puck and using his body to his advantage. And that's something that the Rangers need in the playoffs. So Edstrom scored his first goal of the season against the New York Islanders. He went to the net, the puck deflected off of him, but this is exactly what the Rangers need. Driving the net, using your body, being physical, body checking, right? All these things are going to add up when it comes to playoff time, because these are the things we have seen is plaguing them in the playoffs, because they don't do it, and some of the top guys don't. Obviously, your top guys are going to have to still do that, but with guys like Adam Edstrom coming at you every shift, it is not a good thing for the opposing teams, But this is from Vince. I spent the last couple days learning more about how Adam Edstrom rose from a late round prospect to a fourth line menace and the only rookie to play every game for the New York Rangers so far this season. Quote unquote rookie, right? I mean, he did play sometime last season, but you know what? This was a great article from Vince, so definitely go check it out if you have a chance. It was a good read, and you know what? I love the use of the word menace. He has been a menace so far this season. He's been great for the New York Rangers. And this is something I brought up in a video over the weekend as well from Adam. Ironically, from Adam on Adam Edstrom. He is going to be a monster for the New York Rangers on the fourth line this year. And this clip that he, uses specifically, and he uses some text. If you want to go see this on Twitter, it's a great breakdown of what he does. He creates this play out of nothing, absolutely nothing. And he uses his speed, his body to his advantage. And he's doing this against 3 New York Islanders players. So he's been awesome so far this season. And like Adam says here, he was doing this against heavy players, right? Kyle Palmieri and Ryan Pollock, for example, right? They're heavier players. They play a more physical style of game, and those aren't scrubs, right? That's exactly what Adam's saying here. They're good players, and they're going to maybe not like elite talent in the NHL, but it's not easy to take the puck off guys like this and protect the puck from them. And you know what? Good players are going to have a hard time against Adam Edstrom. When you have a guy like skating that fast towards you, and he's that big, that's scary. That's a mental factor as well. It's not just a physical aspect of the game. That's a mental factor that I think will play a huge role come playoff time, like I mentioned before. And he also won, the Rookie of the Year award that's awarded to the top New York Rangers rookie in training camp every year. This is decided by the media, of course, so he won that. I thought that was pretty cool this year. And you know what? Not just Adam Edstrom, but Jimmy Vesey, who just came into the lineup too, is adding a lot of versatility to the fourth line. And Laviolette went on to say he's a guy that probably could play on any line if asked upon. About Jimmy Vesey, he's been very versatile. We've seen it in the past. He probably could be plugged into any line if need be and take on that role, but he has been good in his spot on the fourth line when he's been playing there. And of course, he just returned to the lineup, so not expecting too much out of him just yet, but obviously Peter Laviolette with some high praise for Jimmy Vesey and the fourth line. And he also went on to say he's been practicing hard. He'll give us some good minutes, and that is on Jimmy Vesey specifically, who just returned to the lineup from injury as well. Missed a significant portion of the start of the season, and he is back in the lineup now. So the Rangers' fourth line is looking somewhat formidable at this point in time. I mean, it's looking pretty good. And when you look at it on paper specifically, I think this is the ideal lineup for the New York Rangers right now. I've loved Will Cooley's game. I'm so happy that I got a promotion there. I'm not necessarily thinking Chris Kreider's, being put on the third line is a demotion per se. I think it's more about getting the other two guys going, especially Capo Caco, and not just about getting them going and having Kreider on the third line. I think it's about the team aspect and having certain lines who can be good defensively, more responsible defensively. So it's not just about Chris Kreider in this spot. I think it's more about, the chemistry of the other lines as well and getting Zibanejad going. And a lot of people think, you shouldn't pander to players and you shouldn't put him on a line with, your best offensive players right now. But that's exactly how you're going to get him feeling good and confident offensively. So I think that's fine. It worked last game significantly. It was a great game, good win, solid win. They still have to clean up a few things, but it's heading in the right direction. And when you look at the fourth line again, this is definitive to me. This is the definitive fourth line. This has been good, and I think Adam Edstrom has solidified his spot there. Sam Kirk certainly has. He's been great since he's been signed. So that was a great move by Chris Drury. We'll give him credit where credit is due in the offseason. I think he has looked like he is a great fit there on the fourth line. And again, Jimmy Vesey returning from injury has looked good as well. So let me know in the comments what you think of Adam Edstrom and the dynamic he brings to the lineup, especially heading into the playoffs. I think he's going to play a huge role, not only during the regular season like he has been already, but come playoff time. And I think the fourth line looks great as well. The lineup right now, I think you ride this until, it doesn't work, but I think it, is the results so far. I know it's a very small sample size, suggests that it's going to work better. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about how the Rangers are playing. I think the top guys still need to add some more physicality to their game, but the fourth line certainly has been a revelation so far this year. It has been good. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.